if God called you to do it, then it's going to work. It may not work in the time or the space that you think it should. Like, oh man, it's getting tight. It's getting tight. But God is a provider. He's gonna provide for you.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Weapon Christ show where we inspire the masses to become financially free while building God's kingdom. On the show today, we have Mr. Titus Cody. Mr. Titus is a well-known content creator with over 3.3 million followers across various social media. You guys heard me correct. 3.3 million followers across various social media. And today we're going to be talking about his success as a content creator. So thank you for being here, Mr. Titus.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you.
That's good. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing really good. Just got done shooting content. So, like I said, trying to stay busy, man. Trying to stay busy, dude.
I hear you. So, to start with the conversation, I want to ask, what got you interested into, starting the followers, like in this process of building followers on TikToks, Instagram? What got you into content creation?
Well, I was creating content back in high school. Of course, it wasn't getting any views, but I was doing it like from I say the 8th grade on through high school, and I was just making it because that's what I enjoyed to do. I just wanted to be, I wanted to light people's day up. Like when people was going through dark spaces, I wanted them to be able to come to my page and find some relief, temporary relief. We know, of course, that the real relief is in Jesus Christ, but I always try to gear either something I say in my comment section or some part of the video, to that. But yeah, man, I started really early in high school, middle school, high school, but then I started to take it more seriously. Like everybody started taking things seriously when COVID hit. So when that happened, I was like, man, I'm in my room, because I had stopped for a little minute. I was like, man, I'm in my room, I ain't been doing nothing. And man, I think it's time. And somebody gave me a TikTok shirt. I was in this ensemble at college, and we used to travel and sing at different churches, different schools and stuff like that. So they gave me a TikTok shirt at our little Christmas party, and they was like, man, this for when you blow up on TikTok. And I hadn't even made a video yet. And I was like, man, maybe I should do it. So they gave it to me. I took the shirt. I started making videos, and I was making pastor videos at first. In the beginning, I was making like pastoral teachings. People would send in like a comment, and I'll make it funny. They'll send in like relationship advice, but I make it funny. But I was a pastor character. And man, it took off from there. It really took off from there. And, of course, all the other stuff came later. The gender reveals and college choices, all that stuff came later. But yeah, that's how I got started, bro.
No, that's pretty impressive, because I'm looking back and I'm trying to think, what was I doing in 8th grade? Because that was any of this stuff in 8th grade. And I want to ask, because you from 8th grade to where you're currently at, I know that's a big break. Like, what were you doing? Like, what was going through your head that made you stop? Like, was there something that just made you stop, or you just stopped just for any reason? Like,
well, I was making it on throughout high school. Like I probably stopped when I got to college. So 8th to 12th grade, I was making little funny videos, posting singing videos, different stuff like that, posting rapping videos. But I stopped because I just got super busy, and I was like, man, maybe I should just try to focus on like real life stuff. That's where a lot of people get messed up at. They're like, man, this ain't really gonna work. Let me focus on something that's gonna guarantee, it's guaranteed it's gonna bring in the money. Like I can start a family, I can do all this stuff. But yeah, I stopped, and I got a regular job. I wasn't getting paid at this point, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, but this ain't bringing no money, it wasn't about the money, but I was like, if I'm gonna do this for a living, it gotta produce something. But let that be encouragement to people who want to start their own business, or they want to do what you do, have a podcast, or they want to have a YouTube channel, they want to, do something on social media. It don't matter in the beginning if it's not bringing, it don't matter years down the line if it's not bringing in any money. You got to make sure you enjoy it, and you got to put in work and it's gonna pay off. Like the Bible say, if you acknowledge God, if you put him first, he'll give you the desires of your heart, man. So just do what he's calling you to do. Don't put yourself in a box, because he didn't create us in no box, you know.
That's very important. I like the fact that you mentioned that the part that you realized that it was not making money for you in the beginning. Yeah. That's what made you, okay, let me get a real job. Let's go and get this 9 to 5. The typical world would tell you to do when you're not making money. And I want to kind of ask, was your parents like, were they influence you to say, okay, bro, this is not kicking off for you. You should go and get a job. You should go to college. Or this was something that you decided, okay, I'm going to go to college so I don't have to deal with my parents saying I'm just at home making videos and nothing's really coming out of it.
Man, my parents were always supportive of what I was doing. It's crazy. Like, I don't have a big come up story, where people like, man, they was praying on my downfall. They was on my back. All my friends, they used to always tell me, bro, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to make it. So I don't know what it feel like to have fake friends. And my parents was influencing me like the whole way through. They was pushing me. They was like, man, they was watching every single video, laughing. And when I told them that, I was in college, and then I eventually stopped going and start pursuing this full time, because I was getting a degree in worship leadership, and something you don't have to have a degree in. So I told my parents, I was like, man, I'm really thinking about, doing this content creation, being a full-time influencer. And of course, they're not happy about that. They weren't just like, oh, great, I'm, excited. They was like, just pray about it. If God leading you that way, then do what you got to do. And I did it. But they were supportive of me all the way through, and they still supportive of me to this day. I remember I went to my dad's house like this weekend, and I opened his door, and he didn't know I was standing right there, and he was watching my video, and he let it play like 3-4 times. And I was like, Dad. He was like, oh. You know what I'm saying?
That's really great.
Yeah.
And I want to, I'm glad that you kind of experienced that, because oftentimes people get the opposite, where their parents, their friends, or outcasts.
Yeah, man.
Looking back, in the past 2 years, 2020, 2021, 2022, you see a lot of people started content, and you go on their pages now. It's like, what happened? Like, money's not coming in, all these different things. So I want to ask, how would you encourage someone who may have fell off, and who may feel like God is calling them into this space of being a content creator, whether it's being on YouTube, whether it's having a show like I'm doing right now? What would you say to that person to encourage them?
What I would say to you is, if God called you to do it, then it's going to work. It may not work in the time or the space that you think it should. Like, oh man, it's getting tight. It's getting tight. But God is a provider. He's gonna provide for you. This is the thing. You gotta, like I said, you gotta love what you do more than you love the money that's coming in from it. And eventually that's gonna pay. If you love anything enough, and especially today, if you love anything enough, you can make a living from it. If people love Legos enough, they can make millions of dollars from building Lego structures. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, if you love anything enough, and if God put that desire in your heart, don't look at what everybody else doing. You got to focus on what God gave you to do. Don't worry about what everybody else got going on. Focus on what God gave you to do and pursue that. Like my brother, he just started his YouTube channel. He been wanting to do it for a long time. He wanted to do a clothing line for a long time, and to see him chasing his dream like fully, like full speed. I'm just sitting there like, bro, that's what people need to do. They got to realize, even if you have to work another job to get money, like in the beginning, when I was working my 9 to 5 and doing content creation, I was getting up at like 6. I record 2-3 videos, go to work, come home, post them joints. You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed the money from the job to do what I was doing, but my main focus is what God gave me to do, not the job. What God gave me to do. Now, some people, they call it to work regular jobs, but not us. You know what I'm saying?
And I like that. Just to add on to what you said, because oftentimes in this current economy, this current, where we are right now in this world, oftentimes people think they have to be entrepreneur, they have to be a business owner, they have to be a YouTuber, and I'm a very open person saying that not everyone is called to business.
Not everybody is.
to keep it 100, it's not for everyone, through the ups and downs, not having income when you start in from your business, having to figure out ways to be creative, be in that creative mindset, I understand, deal with the hate that you may get on social
Yeah.
media, different comments. It's not really for everyone. I want for those who are listening, I want them to take from your story that you literally went to God. This is what God called you to do. This is your childhood dream. Because I feel like,
Yeah.
oftentimes, like just looking at kids, you realize that you can tell what somebody's called to. You pay attention to what they do as a kid, whether it's somebody just holding like a bottle and they like trying to
Yeah.
speak. So, say it's person could be a motivation speaker or
Yeah.
a pastor. But I feel like a lot of people, they ignore those childhood dreams out of fear. And I want to ask, when did you realize that, okay, this is actually working now? I'm back on it, like this is actually working. You're making money. You see, like when do you hit to you, like, yeah, this is actually working. I'm gonna do this long term.
For a long time when I was working my 9 to 5 and I was creating content at the same time, I was content with doing both because I wanted the money from my job and I knew social media wasn't paying that much. But then one week I looked at my social media paycheck and my job paycheck and I was like, so social media just paid me more than my job, bro. And I was like, dang, I can do this. I can do this full time. And uh, there's a Christian influencer named Maurice Dowell, I think is his last name, but he invited me to LA to do something with Pentatonics at the time. Like they just wanted influencers out there to be around them and like make content so they could boost what they had going on. And I was like, bro, this can work. This can work. Like, let's do it. Let's do it. And I was sitting in the back of, cause I worked at a fast food restaurant called Fusackley's. If you're from the South, I guess like in Alabama, there's a couple places in Alabama, what Fusackley's is. And I was sitting in the back of Fusackley's and I was sitting there and I was like, man, I'm so scared. And I was talking on the phone with my wife, my girlfriend at the time. My girlfriend at the time. I was talking on the phone with my wife and I was like, man, babe, she was like, did you tell him yet? I was like, bro, I'm scared. Like, I don't want to do this. So I was sitting there and I finally was like, okay. I said, excuse me, I need to talk to you. And I told him straight up. I was like, man, I've been doing social media. I'm an influencer. And it had got to the point to where when I was working in a drive-through, every time somebody come through, they'd be like, oh, you and I'm like, yeah. They was like, you work here? I was like, yeah. They was like, why? I was like, bro, you don't know the money situation. But I told him, and the crazy thing is, he was a Christian guy as well. And the crazy thing is, he told me, he said, man, I knew you weren't going to be here forever. We use this to teach you principles about life and to launch you off and do whatever God called you to do. He said, so go do it. If it's your time, go. And he was like, if you ever need to come back, let me know and we'll welcome you back. And I was like, man, that's crazy. That worked out the right way. So I did it. I took a step of faith and I'm still here. Praise God.
Praise God.
Hey family, I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. And if you are and you have yet to subscribe to us here on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. And also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and you have yet to leave us a 5-star review, please do so. Now back to the episode.
And I guess, because you mentioned just now, how when you was working in the drive-thru, people used to notice you and ask you,
Yeah.
like, why are you working here? How do you deal with the fame and, like, the notoriety, the influence that you have now as a person?
Man, I don't like to, honestly, because when especially with, it's probably like, because the majority of my followers, I have a majority female following, like a follower base.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm married at the same time. So, and my wife is from Atlanta, so she don't really play that much. So when I'm in public, people look like walk past and they're like, "Oh my gosh, bro, that's him from TikTok. That's him from Instagram." I had a couple older ladies. That's him from Facebook. I was like, "Nah, I ain't on Facebook. Come on, bro." But I don't really, to be honest, I don't really like to deal with it. Because I know me, it can. I don't want my head to ever get big to where I feel like, yeah, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what it is. So when people come talk to me or they kind of spaz out, it makes me a little uncomfortable. Really, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't want that interaction. But at the same time, you don't know, what you did for these people. Because I know when I was in a dark place, it was certain influencers that I would watch every day, and they would help me out. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know what you did with these people, like, to these people. So you can't just like blow it off. Like, it's just, anything. So God is showing me how to work that. So I'll be like, man, if you see me in public, I'll say this a lot when I'm live streaming and stuff. Like, if you see me in public, just come and talk to me like I'm a normal dude, bro. Like, everything that you do, I do. Everything that you deal with, I deal with. I'm not just some God, because that's where people mess up. They look at people as gods, and they like, man, their life is so much better than mine. They think in their head they don't deal with the same. Yes, they do. They deal with the same things you deal with, like thoughts and loss and having to sit down when they use the restroom. Like, it's a human being. We can't look at people as gods, because there's only one God. So my main thing is trying to stay humble, bro. That's my thing. I want to stay humble. And
that's really good. That's really good. And I'm glad that you kind of, you said that a lot of your content, followers are women. Now just imagine the boundaries you have to set. Like, what are some boundaries that you set to protect yourself from not falling outside of your faith or doing anything that will cause you any kind of harm?
The only people that I talk to, no matter, some people, like, they'll DM me and tell me, man, pray for me with this, or you don't know how this changed my life. I love your content. And I'll DM them back. But I'm not holding a conversation with nobody. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to hold a conversation with nobody. If I see you in public, I'm not going to give you a hug. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. It's like, and if I see you in public and you're talking to me, I'm going to introduce you to my wife, because my wife is standing right there. I'm going to introduce you to my wife as my wife. I'm not going to say, this is Kendrick. No, like I said, she's from Atlanta. She don't play. So I'm going to introduce you to my wife. I'm not going to give you a hug. It's just, I'm not going to act single. That's the big thing. I'm not going to act like some single dude. And even if you are single, I'm a Christian. So it's certain stuff I just can't do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So those are the boundaries. But it's a good and bad thing to having like huge female following base, because the good thing is when I drop merch, I know they're gonna buy it because they're girls. You know what I'm saying? The girls gonna support you. Dudes might be like, oh, bro, I ain't really banging with it. Girls gonna support you. So and it's gotten to the point now where they know Kendry. Like, I post her a lot whenever she wants to be on camera. She's pregnant, but I post her a lot, so they'll ask, how she's doing in the comments, and that really makes me happy. As long as they respect, my family, is good. It's good.
Yeah, that's really good. And congrats on the baby.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
But I want to add, just to continue this conversation. You talking about like your check from social media started to be more than what you get at your regular job, and often when people start getting this money, I understand you say you want to remain as humble as connected to Christ as possible. I want to ask, how do you handle the sponsorship, the brand deals, and partnership while still maintaining your faith and your value? Like, how do you make sure that you're not going outside, do anything that will compromise your faith?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is praying about every sponsorship that I get, because there's been some good ones to come through, and some that I know would pay some money, but because of where I'm at. I'll give you an example. Like, Budweiser reached out to me, and they were like, man, we really want you to promote our new line. I've never drank in my life, so I don't even know how to talk about this. And not condemning anybody who does, but it's just me, my personal conviction. I don't drink alcohol. So I emailed them back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I emailed them back, and I told them, I said, I appreciate you reaching out, but to be completely honest with you, I can't take this brand deal. I can't take this partnership because I don't drink. So I don't know. I couldn't represent your company as well as you would like me to, because I'd be saying stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the drink, But they responded well to it. They was like, hey man, we completely understand. If we'll connect you with some other people who we know who would possibly fit better for you. And I was like, cool. So yeah, you just gotta pray. You gotta be careful about like, and another one, something called I'm not gonna say the name of it, but there was another brand that reached out to me, another organization that reached out to me, and it was something with like pictures and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't do that, bro, because I don't support that. You know what I'm saying? I don't support what they were taking pictures of. It was a like a fetish app thing. So I was like, I can't do it, bro. I don't care how innocent you try to make it seem. I can't. I can't. Even if I like relate it back to my wife because we're married, I can't. I can't, bro. Because it's the people who watching my content. Who am I to like put that in front of them, especially if there's something that they struggle with. Like, say I did the Budweiser ad, and if they struggle with that, and they like, oh, but Cody doing it, we straight. Yeah, bro, we straight. Yeah. We straight. You can't do that. You can't do that. So
that's very interesting because in the financial space, crypto, a lot of influencers with advertising supporting crypto, and as you may know, crypto basically crashed. Like past 6 months, everything has crashed. People have lost millions of dollars. And thinking, I kind of respect the fact that you didn't take some of these profits because some people just take it like, yeah, Cody did this, all right.
Yeah,
that's that. Cody approve it. Cody approve it. And I want to ask. I can imagine it could be overwhelming to keep that that image of being honest to your faith, and also trying to make money. Like, how do you make sure that doesn't overwhelm you? Like, you do have a very huge, and I do give much respect to you how you manage it.
I appreciate it. I don't let it overwhelm me. I think God's not really letting it overwhelm me right now because I honestly, where I've been the past couple months, like there was a time where the brand deals were coming in every week, like crazy brand deals every week. But there's like in influence in everything you do, whether you're doing a clothing line, whether you got your own business, crypto, whatever you're doing, there's like this fluctuation. So right now I'm in this area. We just being straight up. I'm in this area where I'm not seeing the brand deals. I'm reaching out to people and everybody's saying no. But I can still say that God is providing for me, and I'm surrounded with a lot of good people who, on days like when I want to quit, and I'm like, bro, I can go work at this church that was paying me thousands of dollars, and I can just slow down on social media right now. But God's not really leading me that way. So who am I to just go and do it? Because if I step out and just go do what I want to do, it's gonna fail, and I'm not gonna be happy. So I'm in this low place right now, and it's like kind of not moving too fast. But I'm glad that I know how to manage my funds. I know how to just God is really providing. It's crazy. God is providing.
Really good. And I want to quickly just go in real quick about, the different seasons that you go to as a content creator, whether it's, getting sponsorship and brand deals. A lot of people have been cutting, layoff, interest rates, everything is very affecting the economy. So how have you, make sure you've been good stewards of the different finance, the different financial things? Like, how would you recommend someone who is growing, who's looking up to you as a mentor, when you start getting brand deals to order their finance?
I think especially with me being married now and having like to pay bills and different things like that, man, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices, some good ones, like some sacrifices to give when you don't really think you're in a place to give. And this coming from a Christian standpoint, to give in places when you don't really want to give, and to hold on when God's telling you, hey, you don't need that. You don't need to go get this, and this. Because the thing about social media, it's not guaranteed. Like, the money isn't guaranteed. It's not a 9 to 5 where I'm making this week and I'm making this, and then 20 years later I might be making a little bit more because I got a promotion. Social media, like we said, is up and down. So I might get a really huge sponsorship. I might get a really huge check, that don't mean I can go buy Dolce and Gabbana and all this crazy stuff, because the next season might be slow. You know what I'm saying? And now you put yourself in a hole. So you just got to be constant. Like you got to be consistent. I mean, you got to be consistent with what you're spending. So don't splurge. Make sacrifices. Some smart sacrifices. Now, if God telling you to give to somebody, do it, because God gonna take care of you. But if God ain't telling you to go get that, bro, slow down. So, because I want another car. I gotta hold on. God ain't told me to do that yet. God ain't told me to do that yet. So we gotta be smart about it.
That's really good. And I'm glad that in this conversation, I can see that you pray a lot, you take a lot of things back to God. And I want to ask, how has your faith helped you in this journey through the ups and downs, through, well, you're not going to get a brand deal, like currently right now, you're not getting it, like, how has your faith helped you?
My faith has real, like, God has really sustained me, and he gave me such an amazing wife. On days when I want to quit, she just knows, and she's like, hey, let's have a meeting real quick. We go downstairs, we doing our meeting, and she's like, this is slow, this is fast. I just want you to stay encouraged, Titus. I just want you to don't give up. All right, don't give up. And I just break down crying. I'm like, bro, because this is hard. It's hard. It's hard, but God has been everything. And my dad's a pastor, and I sing at his church. I'm a worship leader at his church. So every time I'll sing a song or something like that, my dad moves in the prophetic like a lot. So he'll just come to me, and he don't know my financial situation. He don't know my mental state. Like, he don't know where I'm at. But he'll come to me and he'll be like, stay encouraged, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. If God didn't want you to do this, he wouldn't have allowed it. You know what I'm saying? So stay encouraged. My brother does the same thing. He's like, hold your head up, bro. You're not a loser, bro. You're not, like, just because things aren't going the way you want them to go don't mean that God don't have his hand on your life. Like, there's seasons, bro. And God is just making sure you know how to handle what he's about to give you. You know what I'm saying? So
that's very true. And I want to kind of go into the conversation about your content, because you have different type of content, from comedy to rap to reaction. How do you maintain a balance between entertainment and Christian message in your content?
Man, I'm working on that right now. God was literally speaking to me about that. And he was like, all right, I gave you all these people. Now tell them about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just, like, I love to do the comedy videos. I love to do the reaction videos. But my main heart, really, my goal when I started in the 8th grade, my goal was, I want to blow up on social media so I can make music. That was my whole goal. I want to blow up on social media so I can make music. But now God has given me the space where I've done worship nights on live on Instagram, TikTok, and they like go crazy. It's crazy. And people are like, man, I didn't know you could sing. And that kind of makes me feel bad, because I was the dude who was known, like, in my city. They was like, bro, he sings. And now people are like, I thought you was just funny. And I'm like, bro, I ain't using what God gave me, bro. So we started to do worship nights, and I'm doing that mainly live on TikTok live and Instagram live. But the week after next, we have our first live show. So our first live worship night. And of course, it's like a free event, so anybody can come. But I'm just trying to make sure that people know I'm just not the funny guy. I want to make sure they know that I'm the believer, like, I'm the follower of Christ as well. So it's hard to answer your question. I'm learning how to maintain, like, that balance to spread the gospel of Christ the most effective way.
What's up, fam? If you would like to cop some fire Wealth in Christ merch, you can go to wealthinchristbrand.com. We have t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, all available on wealthinchristbrand.com. Thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, because, just me talking about money, you can see how it could be, you want to say certain things, you know that it would get the virality, you would get people acting up in the comments, at the same time, God may be telling you, nah, don't go that way. This is what I want you to say. And you may only get a few likes and a few comments on that post. And it's like, dang. Like, it's like, dang. Like I completely understand because that's something I personally battle with, and I go into different people's social media pages, different entrepreneurs, and just look at what goes well and what goes good. You see that a lot of people like the negativity. When it's something crazy,
Yep.
when it has nothing to do with God, like those videos, those pictures,
Yeah.
like wow. I'm like wow. But then it's like you post like a scripture, or you post something challenging them, spiritually. As like, I don't want to see that.
I don't want
Like,
to deal with that. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And when I want to kind of ask, how do you go about creating content? What is like your process of creating content? Like, I know you just said you made some videos earlier. So what was that
Mhm.
process like for you to create content?
So with the type of content that I do, like I people send me videos that they want me to remake or they want me to react to. And normally I'll ask the creator of the video, especially with the me like reenacting their gender reveal or what college they're going to. I'll ask them if it's okay if I remake it because I don't want to, that's a special
Yeah.
time in people's life. So you don't want to just sit there and mock them, and that's the most special day in their life. So I asked for their permission. I'll get the okay. Most times I'll get the okay. So I'll go, I'll set up my light. I get my mind rolling. I watch the video. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Set the camera up, watch what they do, reenact the first thing that come to my mind. I'll do that. The first thing that come to my mind. And the first thing that come to my mind is normally when people watching a video, when they're laughing at it, the original video, like the video that the creator posted, they're like, why did he do that? And that's probably the first thing that came to my mind. Like, why did he do that? So I'm pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? So, and people will be like, bro, I was thinking the same thing. Because all content, like being an influencer or creating content, all it is, or being a comedian, really, comedy, is just relating to people. That's it.
Yeah.
Like saying what people was thinking. That's the whole thing of comedy. You know what I'm saying? So I do. That's my process, bro. I set the light up, go with the first thing that comes to my mind. Now it's different with YouTube. With YouTube, or with something that I'm actually creating myself. I got a plan, like, man, can I get this location? Man, do we have time to go here? Man, I need the camera. Do my SD cards have enough memory on them? Like, and that the editing that goes into it's a lot. So creating, like, for each different type of content, it's a different process. Because with reaction videos, you literally sit there and you react to it. But with creating the original video, I sit there, watch, reenact, gotta edit, creating a YouTube video. I record for like hours, and then I have to edit the hours of content. So it's different for every.
So what would you say your daily schedule is? You do a lot of different type of content. What's your daily schedule like?
Man, I just started using Google Calendar really, 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 really heavily. So my schedule says wake up at 6. Well, I have 3 a.m. prayer on certain days out of the week. Then I get up at 6. I pray, have my own personal devotion time, pray, scripture reading. Then I eat breakfast, then start editing videos, mainly YouTube videos from the past day or the couple days before. I'll edit those videos. Then I'll check my emails, see if any brand deals came in. I'll send out emails, reaching out to brands, trying to see if I can get a partnership. Then I'll look at TikToks that people have sent me. And this is probably like 12 o'clock, I'll eat lunch. Look at TikToks that people have sent me. I'll react to those. And depending on what day it is, after I react to those and make those videos, I'll sit down and edit. It's probably like 2 o'clock by then. And some days I have worship nights, so I'll just chill for the rest of the day. Like I'm chilling because we got worship night later on tonight. Or like days like today at 5 o'clock, I'm going to sing at a church that invited me to sing. So after this, I'm gonna take a shower, get dressed, just relax, then go down there and sing, come home. Every night it's hard for me because I love to play Call of Duty, bro. I love Call of Duty, bro. So, and I got a wife. So a lot of times she's like, and she's pregnant. So a lot of times she's like, man, she's like, man, "Hey, can you come up here and watch a movie with me?" And I'm like, all right, I'm texting the boys. All right, it's probably gonna be like 11, 12 when I get home, y'all, if I get on tonight. But for some reason, it wasn't like this before she got pregnant. When we watched movies, she would be gone. Like she'd go to sleep. And I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna sneak downstairs and play the game. Bro, she be wide awake now. And she just sitting there after the movie. You want to watch another one? Oh, all right, y'all. Not tonight. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my daily schedule looks like. It's a lot of work. And the thing with being working for yourself, not being a content creator, with working for yourself, you got to be more busy than when you work the 9 to 5, bro. You got to keep yourself busy. And a lot of it, you be like, do I even need to put this on my schedule? Like, is this even, am I working on something right? Bro, you got to do a lot. But that's what my schedule looks like.
Wow. And, I have just 2 more questions to wrap this interview up. One is, I guess I'll ask this, because you just spoke about your wife, pregnant, trying to spend time with your wife, as well as spend time with your boys and also make time for you personally.
Yeah.
I can just imagine, like you said, being a content creator, you have to like find things that keep you active, continue to sharpen your brain, So what are some suggestions or some tips you would have for somebody who maybe started out on social media, who wants to eventually maybe amass 3.3 million followers across social media. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. What would you? Because that's a lot. Because I have a question after that. But how would you tell them to manage that? Making sure they have time for themselves and also family, friends. Because oftentimes in this journey, you hear people like, "Oh, I disconnected from everybody." It's just me.
Yeah.
That's it. So how do you find a balance? I think you do have a good balance in doing that.
Yeah, that might work for other people, the me thing, but it couldn't work for me because my family is so big in my life and spending time with people is so, I'm a people person. So for me personally, I make sure I don't get too deep into anything. So it's like with my content, I'm making sure I'm not so deep in my content where I can't pay attention to my wife because she's in a time where she needs me to help her do a lot of stuff right now. So I can't, if I'm too deep in my content, I don't hear my wife or I'm not noticing that she needs something, or I'm not just looking at her saying that she's always alone. Like, you can't be that deep. Now, it's different for different relationships in your life. So if I'm in my content and my dad called and he like, "Hey son, want to come over and watch the game?" Dad, I'm at work right now. You know what I'm saying? Dad, I'm at work right now. I'm here and I'm not too deep. I can, cater to my wife. I can do what she needs me to do. And at the same time, I'm spending a lot of time with my wife. She's a photographer and she normally works on the weekends. So if like during the week, she's editing photos and she's watching movies and being pregnant, doing pregnant lady stuff. So I'm like, babe, I can't watch 5 movies today. You see what I'm saying? I can't be too deep in that. I got to get to work. And I'm also letting my work know I got to tend to my wife. I'm letting my wife know, "Hey, babe, we're going to my parents' house this weekend just to spend time," because my wife's mom passed away when she was in high school. So, and her dad lives in Atlanta, and there's like some things going on with that. So, she's here, and I need to make sure that she's around other people, not just me. Like, she needs to be around her friends that are here, because that can wear on your mind. Like, you just in the house all day shooting content. You go to the park, shoot some. You go to the store and shoot a little something. But if you shooting, like, you need to make some time for other stuff. So I would say don't get too deep in anything, because I be hearing people talk that good talk, like, "Man, I'm about my money, bro. That's it. I'm just about my money." Bro, you can't be just about your money, bro. You need to be about people and be about yourself, be about your money. Like, be about just like loving people. You know what I'm saying? That's the big thing.
That's very powerful. And just so you do your content is like from various things, and specifically, being a comedian, I can just imagine there has to be like a fine line. Like, okay, I'm not gonna cross it because this has so many different things that happened the past year. Different comedian, whether it's Chris Rock or whatever, David Chappelle. It has, like, where's that fine line for you about the type of content you create and how you think people's going to take it? And And how do you
Yeah.
do that challenge? Somebody don't take your content the right way. Do you delete it? What do you do when you face those kind of challenges?
There, I can give you an example of something that happened. So there was a lady, and they did a gender reveal, and I was reacting to their remaking their gender reveal, and she DM'd me, and she was like, "Hey, my grandma was in that video, and she passed away shortly after that." So even though she wasn't in the part that I made in the video, like her grandma was in my video, but just being sensitive to the family, I'm like, I'm taking that down. You know what I'm saying? Like that, because that you don't want to see people sitting there laughing at your family. Your grandma just passed away, and you know what I'm saying. So I took it down, and but there's also other times when you make a joke and you know it's not crossing the line. Like with being a comedian, you got to get real close to the line. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. You got to know not when to step over. Sometimes you can step over the line, sometimes you can't. But sometimes when you make a joke and you know it wasn't across the line, there's always gonna be somebody who says, "Man, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You know, that's disrespectful and all that." Sometimes you just gotta ignore that junk. Well, all the time I ignore that. Like I know when I've crossed it. Either I'm gonna know it, or my wife gonna tell me, or my pastor gonna tell me, or you know what I'm saying. And there's been some times where I crossed the line. There's times where I didn't step way past the line with being a Christian, because I'm not just a comedian, I'm a Christian and I'm a comedian. So there's just certain stuff I can't do. You gotta know. You gotta have some wisdom about it, bro. You gotta know when not to do certain stuff.
Not a problem. I definitely want to say, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this
Sir.
time. Where do you see yourself going from here, from 3.3 million followers across various social media? What can people expect from you in the next 5 years, 10 years?
In the next 5 years, you're gonna see me not doing the same content that I've been doing. Like you're gonna see me singing and doing shows. You're gonna see me on TV playing parts, like being in movies. I'm stepping out. I'm branching out. You're gonna hear me making music. Like I'm branching out. Like the comedy is fun, and I'm not gonna stop doing comedy because that's part of the personality God gave me. Like God gave me, like a funny side, but he also gave me a serious side. He gave me a side that loves to sing, a side that loves to rap, a side that loves to act. So I'm gonna do everything that God gave me to do, bro. Every talent, every gift that he gave me, I'm operating in that junk. I don't care. I don't care if they're like, man, he need to focus on one thing, bro. Everything gonna work because God gave it all to me, and as long as I'm glorifying him, it's gonna work.
That's good. And you can have a word of advice for anyone who may have listened to this whole interview and still feel like, I don't know if I can do what Titus did. He took a lot of faith. God was really with him. I don't know if I can really do it. What would you say to that person?
I would say to the person that's watching this who doesn't know if they can do it, who is discouraged in their whole process of being a creator, entrepreneur, whatever the title is, you got to know the God that created you and know what he made you to be. Like you can't doubt that if God gave you an idea, he gave it to you for a reason. Like it's not just gonna flop. It may flop for a time, and it may look like the enemy and make it feel like, man, you doing this for no reason, bro. Give up, go back to the old, go back to what you used to do. But if God gave you something, it's gonna work. You gotta know the you that God created. Like God created you to do some amazing things. And if you don't do it, it's a lot of people in the world who missing out because you didn't do your part. But somebody else gonna do it. But God wanted you to do it. So you gotta just trust God, bro. Trust God.
I like that. For those who are listening, hope you guys, see this opportunity, see this video, this interview. Hope this encourage you. Hope this inspire you. Hope you guys don't see as another person who come on here on the Wealth in Christ show, talk about their success, and how God has blessed them. But I hope you take this and you go out and do something. I hope you step out in faith. We're still in the beginning of this year. Please do something with your time. And for those who are looking for a group of Christians who are working towards becoming financial free, look no further and join the Praying the Best group on Facebook, and stay tuned for next week's episode. And thank you again, Mr. Titus.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.